Yo, welcome in, man. Today is December the 18th. This is the ChrisBeCappinn Show, night edition Cappin Show. We are we're going to jump into a couple of the games for tomorrow. It's a super huge slate. I think it might be 11 different games for tomorrow. I think it's 11 games tomorrow. A lot of teams back in action after nobody was, playing tonight. And then we had the cup games as well. So I'm coming off a 0-1 night. I had the future bet on the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they just couldn't make a shot. So it's a big loss for me. It was one of my first. I think it was my first 2-unit play of the season. So that one hurt a lot. If you watched the, if you watched the show that I did on yesterday morning, it was 3 things that we kind of talked out on the show. I added them to my short list. Didn't go official with any of those plays. They all, of course, won. It was Damian Lillard under his 23.5 points, winner. He finished at 23. Isaiah Hartenstein over his rebounds, 11.5. He finished with 12. And then it was the under for the full game. They all cashed. So that's the way sports betting have been for me, for majority of the season, man. Majority of the season. But, lick our wounds and we keep moving forward. Let's go through a couple of the comments real quick, see who's in here with me, and then we'll jump into the games for today. Chris Wilson says, let's eat. What up, Chris? We need to do just that, man. We need to do just that. Estai says, turn me up in the headphones. I need it. He's just finally able to catch a live show. What up, Estai? I hope all is well with you. GLB Best says, what's up, Chris? Love the night stream. Plenty of money to be made tomorrow, and I absolutely agree with that. What up, J Sports? Free Sauce says he's in here. Helping Hands in here. Tasha says, OMG, it's going to be a blizzard. Chris, is this breaking news? Now, I just wanted to kind of get ahead. I'm going to do a show again in the morning, but I know I won't have time to get through all the games tomorrow. So we'll see. Blue Mamba says, yo, I was right with the Giannis 17 boards at plus 700. I hope you played it. He says, been cashing all my bets that I mentioned here. 3 of 3. I love it. Love to hear that, Blue Mamba. Big Marv, what up with you? What up, Sean? He says, peace to the chat. Good luck tomorrow. He's in the lab right now, too. Peasy says, gang. Ham Sandwich remains undefeated in the cup. And he cashed with him. Crazy how he can't lose a cup game. It just kind of eats my soul away now that he's not a Laker coach. But it is what it is, man. Let's jump into it. What's up, Derek? Appreciate you for tapping in. Know you're gonna have some stuff for us. Interested to hear your insight in the games as well. Blue Mamba says I got a plus 1,600 bet for tomorrow on a player might be worth a shot. Let's jump into it. So we always start with jaXon. No different today. I didn't go through every game. We're not going to break down every game on the card for today, for tomorrow, but I'll jump into a couple of them and give you guys a few bets that I have made and a couple bets that I'm going to make for tomorrow. A couple things I got on my short list. So I specifically asked jaXon about this Hornets and Wizards game. I wanted to know about the total in the game. So I asked jaXon, what's up with the total? jaXon says, and I should probably put this on the screen so you guys can see it. jaXon says the Hornets are averaging 106.7 points per game, which is 28th in the NBA. They also are last in field goal percentage at 42.9. Defensively, they allow 112.8 points per game. You got a Wizards team that's scoring 107.1 points per game, 25th in the league, but also give up a league worst 123 points per game. Trends, we got both teams have struggled offensively with the Wizards' defensive issues. Could lead to a higher scoring game. The Hornets' offense may benefit from facing the league worst defense in the Wizards. And then the Wizards have allowed 112 plus points in their last 2 games, while the Hornets have gave up 121 in their most recent game to the 76ers. Injuries, the Hornets may be without Brandon Miller, 21.5 points per game, who's questionable with an ankle injury. His absence could impact the potential scoring here. The Wizards are dealing with multiple injuries, including Kyle Kuzma, who's averaging 15.8, who's questionable with a rib injury. I don't think Kyle Kuzma is going to play. Their defensive struggles persist regardless of personnel. And then you got pace of play. Both teams play at a relatively fast pace, which could lead to more possessions and more scoring opportunities. However, the inefficiencies on the offense might limit the total output. So recommendation, the total is set at 226.5, seems reasonable given the Wizards' defensive struggles and the Hornets' potential to exploit them. However, both teams' offensive efficiencies could lead to this game going under the total. So jaXon leans under 226. It says that while the Wizards' defense is poor, the Hornets' offense struggles and potentially the absence of Brandon Miller might keep the scoring lower than expected. So jaXon likes the under here. And I think if I had to bet it, I would bet under as well. I'll talk a little bit more about the game in a second. Not my favorite game on the card at all. But yeah, if you guys are interested in, kind of jaXon doing the homework for you, and you kind of decide whether you want to listen and tell what jaXon says, the link is in the description of the video. You guys can sign up and get 50% off using the promo code ChrisBeCappinn with 2 P's and 2 N's. Also, if you got questions about jaXon, shoot me a DM and we can jump on. We can get together. I can send you a link and we can chat about jaXon as well. But yeah, that's what jaXon likes. jaXon likes the under. So let's jump into it. Let's jump into it for today. First game up, we'll go to, I think it's the first game on the board as far as number rotation. We got the Utah Jazz. They will be in Detroit. They are getting 4.5 points. This is 4 on some books as well. 3.5 on, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, 4.5. Total on the move actually opened 226.5 is what I saw. Up to 228.5. It looks like it's a consensus right now. And we'll do a brief check of the injury report. I don't think we have any key injuries in this game. I didn't see anything pop up when I was looking into this game early. I know that Jordan Clarkson has been kind of iffy back and forth, but I just want to double check really quickly just to make sure we have the gang for this game here. So bear with me for a second while I check the injury report. I didn't write anything down for injury, so I'm pretty sure we will have a clean injury report. Just want to double check real quick. Got to check the injury reports. Let's see. So we got, we got Kyle Filipowski. He's going to be the only person that's out that's been playing recently. On the Utah side, on the Detroit side, I don't think we have anybody at all. I want to say, if we think back to last game, I know the last time they played, they beat the Washington Wizards. I was on the Wizards in that game. The Detroit Pistons, let's just double check it real quick. Looked like they went shopping, spent some money on some kids today. That's always pretty cool. Harris, Ivy, and Stewart are all day-to-day, according to JB Bickerstaff, is the latest thing that came out about 7 hours ago from their beat reporters. So Tobias Harris potentially may not play. Jaden Ivey, and Isaiah Stewart. So that's the injury report for today, according to the beat reporter. All right, so jumping into the game, we got a Utah team that's been getting smoked, man. There's no way to put it other than Utah has really looked like, one of the worst teams in the NBA, which they are. They're definitely one of the worst teams in the NBA. They are 2-8 straight up, 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. This is the second of a long East Coast road trip for them. They've lost 3 straight games as well. Trying to get to some notes real quick. Yeah, they've lost 3 straight games in a row. They've also failed to cover 3 straight games in a row. And defensively, they look really bad. This is the worst defensive rated team over the last 5 games, giving up 128.7 points per 100 possessions, which is, like I said, the worst in the league. Allowing opponents to shoot 62% effective field goal percentage, second worst in the league. And they aren't forcing any turnovers, actually 30th in turnover rate. So that all of that sets up really well for Detroit to be able to score the basketball here. Going back through Utah's game logs, was looking into this earlier. Actually was looking into this last night. Utah has given up, just real quick, I want to tell you guys who they gave it up to. They gave up 144 points in their last game. That game was against the LA Clippers the other day. 144 points in that game on the road. Phoenix came to town before that on the 13th and scored 134, and the Sacramento Kings scored 141. Those are the last 3 defensive games for the Utah Jazz. They did hold Portland to 99 points, but before that, they played OKC, who scored 133 points. And I think Detroit's team total should be somewhere around like 115.5, I think is what I looked at. I think that this game goes up and over the total. That's the way that I would play it. But if you're looking at Detroit, for them, this will be the last of a short 2-game homestand for them before they go on a little West Coast road trip. I think it's 3 games out west, maybe longer than that. They're coming off the overtime win against the Miami Heat. They were 4.5-point dogs in that game. End up winning that game by 1 point thanks to Tim Hardaway Jr. catching fire late in that game. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 5 games, including 4 of their last 5 games have actually gone up and over the total. So these are 2 teams that's not playing, any defense. I'm looking at Detroit defensively right now, 23rd rated defense. I already told you guys Utah was the worst defensive rated team. Detroit also bottom 5 in opponent effective field goal percentage. They also aren't forcing turnovers, which is important because the Utah Jazz actually turned the ball over at the second highest rate. We know that they have super young guards. Keontae George kind of leading the charge out there. Jordan Clarkson can be turnover privy at times as well. So Utah also turned the ball over, but Detroit not turned the ball over. Another reason why I like the total to go up and over, I feel like both of these offenses shouldn't turn the ball over. Neither defense is force a lot of turnovers. Detroit, when I was looking into the game a little bit deeper, Detroit, they are taking and making a ton of threes recently. Jazz defense has been horrible from that spot on the floor, just for the full season, but also for the last 5 games. They actually dead last in opponent 3-point accuracy. Detroit struggled with ball security, as I mentioned, but Utah is dead last in turning the teams over the last 5 games and on the full season. So not expecting them to get a lot of turnovers here. Utah should be able to contribute to the score. Last 5 games, they're actually top 10 in offensive rating and effective field goal percentage, but they turn the ball over at the second highest rate. And like I said, Detroit doesn't force turnovers. So if I had to play the game, if I want Detroit, I'm not into laying a bunch of points for Detroit. I do think that their light year is better than the Utah Jazz, though. I know that the Utah Jazz will be they'll be healthy for the most part in this game. But if the Detroit Pistons got everybody in, I think that they win and cover the spread here in this matchup. The one thing about Utah that you always want to take into consideration is their opponent's ability to guard the 3-point line, first and foremost, and their opponents, because they are the 3rd best 3-point shooting team over the last 5 games, and their opponent ability to be able to limit them from getting second chance opportunities. Walker Kessler, John Collins, Lauri Markkanen, all of those guys are really good rebounders. The Utah Jazz, best thing that they do is rebound the basketball. They're the 5th best offensive rebounding team over the full season. Last 5 games, they are number 11. The problem for them in this spot is that Detroit is also the 2nd best team in limited offensive rebounds. So Isaiah Stewart, probably want him in. Jalen Duren, Kate Cunningham is boarding a lot as well. I like the over in the game. Real quick, we'll go over to Outlier because I want to show you guys what I did end up playing in this game. And I sent this number out earlier this morning. So let's transition screens and then I'll go through a couple of the comments real quick. We'll keep it moving to the next game. All right, so here we see Cade Cunningham, right? I'm looking at his assists. Last 10 games, you can see that he's up and over 80% of his games right here, 8 of 10. He's actually going up and over the number. Game that he missed was against Boston. This was a game that, I was on the over end and they shot 3 for 17 or something crazy from the 3-point line. Just a terrible 3-point shooting night there. He also went under against Milwaukee. This was, I think, the second leg of a back-to-back as well, and they got smoked in this game. Well, no, this wasn't the second leg of back-to-back. This was the game that they got smoked in the cup game here. So the 2 games that he's gone under have come against really good defensive team. The Bucks, showing that they can play defense, and the Boston Celtics, they're not even that great of a defense from the 3-point line recently, and they're giving up a ton of assists. But he did struggle against them specifically. If you come down here, you can see the potential assists. So even in the game that he finished with 8 assists, he still had 16 potential. 29 potential against the Miami Heat, and you can see he converted those into 18 right here. So potential assists are up. You can see minutes 35.4 over the last 5 games, and you can also go over here look at defense, right? You can see opponent assist to turnover ratio. So if we just flip this and look at the Jazz defense, you can see that they are giving up a super high assist to turnover ratio, tied for 29th. Not great. And then overall, you can see that they give up the 3rd most assists in the league, and they give up the 4th most assists to the point guard position over the full season. So I love this line. I gave it out at -125. It looks like -140 is the best number right now. Love Cade. I think the other thing that's been cashing with Cade, it might be a little bit more of a difficult matchup, is his rebounds plus assists. So you can see he's up and over in 6 of the last 10. If we just go last 5, you can see he's up and over 3 of the last 5. The rebound chances are there for him as well, 15, 13, 10, and 15. He does have a little bit more difficult matchup as far as getting rebounds. You can see that the Utah Jazz are the 10th best rebounding team, so they could potentially limit him right here. But yeah, I like Cade. I played his up and over his 9.5 assists. Got the number before it got steamed too much, but I do think Cade has a really big matchup, a really good game in this spot. His points, rebounds, and assists is 40.5. You can see he's going up and over that number. When he goes over, it's not even close. 50, 54, and 49 in the last 3 games, in the games that he's going up and over. So yeah, couldn't talk anybody off. So you can see he's up and over 7 of the last 10. The Jazz are terrible defense. You can see that they also give up their bottom 10 in opponent points as well to the point guard position. So I stuck with the assists, but couldn't talk you guys off of looking at Cade in a lot of different ways. I also like the over. May add the over. Have not added the over quite yet though. So we'll go through the comments real quick, see what you guys are thinking, and then we'll jump back into it. I know I talk for a lot. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. We'll get to this. We'll get to this, Blue Mamba. I'm actually gonna put a star here. Tasha says I don't like that game, the first one. Music says the most analytical capper out there. I wouldn't say most, but I do think the numbers tell a story. I will say that. I don't try to just use analytics. I try to find as much support as I possibly can for my plays, though. They do make me feel a little bit more confident in my bets. I don't want to just take anything. Tasha says Detroit team total up and over 115.5. I like it. 115.5 is available right now. I do think this is going to move to 116. It's already moving to 116 on DraftKings and on ESP on BetMGM for people who are interested in Detroit team total to go over. Bryce says I grabbed that over at 227. I like it. I like it a lot. What up, Cool? Says Chris, a nice show. Let's get it. What up, Lightbearer? Good evening to you, Kristen. Appreciate you for tapping in. GLB Best says I like Detroit minus the 4. This system's been cashing nicely lately. He says teams off 3 or 4 games where they covered and they're now playing a non-conference opponent with a losing record of 20-7 against the spread. GLB Bets systems have been cashing. Discord been eating off GLB Bet systems. He likes Detroit minus the 4.5, and I could not talk you off. I would like for those guys that we talked about at the beginning of the breakdown to be in the game. We got to remember Jaden Ivey missed the last game. He ended up getting ruled out. Tobias Harris, of course. I think did he come back in that game? No, he was already out. He didn't play. He was already going to miss the game against Miami. And then Isaiah Stewart as well. There's a lot of rotational players, it feels like, in my opinion. So I would want those guys to be in. But, I mean, who are we kidding? It's Utah here. It's Utah. How much do we really need for Utah, man? They can get up and play some games, but they are 5-20 on the season, 10-15 against the spread. So Detroit should be able to get the job done, man. I do think they should be able to get the job done. Free Sauce says, like this play, check Keontae George over his 8.5 rebounds and assists. I'll write this number down. Probably won't end up adding anything else in this game, but appreciate you for sharing. Definitely appreciate you for sharing, Free Sauce. I'll look into that offline. What's up, Mitchell? Appreciate you for being here. Says he's been playing 33 minutes in 5 of the last 10 games. Blowout proof as well. What up, Mark? He says, I heard this is where all the cool kids were. I don't know about that. Cal says, hold up. Isn't this past Chris bedtime? This show is normally at 5:30 in the morning. Cal got jokes, man. Cal got jokes. What's up, Cal? Hope all is well with you, man. I know you probably got some college basketball plays. Hope you cash them tonight. Eric says, like how you use and show the variable analytic tools. Appreciate that. Yeah. I didn't mention this, but if you guys are interested in checking out Outlier, there is a link in the description that'll get you a 7-day free trial if anybody's interested in signing up. If you like it, keep it. If you don't, get rid of it. But I think it's a great tool to help handicapping for sure. What up, Andrew? Appreciate you for tapping in. K triple double TZ says, don't let me talk you off at all. The rebounds could be a little bit difficult for Cade in this spot, but he has been rebounding a lot. With no Isaiah Stewart, I can see him going in there grabbing a couple more as well. But I do like, a double-double is probably not even plus money anymore for Cade. I don't know about triple-double, but I couldn't talk you off the double-double. Matter of fact, let's look into that real quick before we move on. Let's look into the double-double market for Cade specifically. Best number available. Oh, yeah, it's juice. Minus 165 on Bet365 right now for Cade. With his assist being a 9.5 and already juice, it makes sense. minus 180 on FanDuel, minus 200 on Caesar. So not a lot of value on Cade to get a double-double right now. You have to play the triple-double like TZ is saying. Jay Sports says, I'm leaning towards over for Cade as well. Guy Goddess says, I'll take Cade over his 15 points. I know his number is set higher than that, right? You might be parlaying. Cal says, I was going to hang out until I see Mark in here. Got Bill. Mark says, see ya. Detroit money line should win. Yeah, they definitely should win on the money line if you want to add it as a parlay piece. Mark said, Cal, a bully. All right, let's keep it moving. Next game we got up is, did I not go into any of the other games? I didn't. So let's change up some things. Because I only had the one game the other day. So like I said, I'm not going through every single game, but there are a few I wanted to go through. So let's go to the Knicks game. When I was structuring what games I wanted to break down and put on the show, I always go with the games that I have the most information on, specifically as far as injury report. Like I hate not knowing who's going to play in the games, and it's a lot of questionable tags out there. I think I did a pretty good job with the injury report, but it's still some stuff that I might have even missed. According to this Knicks and Timberwolves game, I don't think that we should have a ton of guys on the injury report, at least from what I saw. And I'll just double check it really quickly. I think the Knicks should be at about full strength in this game and so forth. The same thing with the Minnesota Timberwolves. But let's jump into it just really quickly. So yeah, we got a clean injury report for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Just Joe Ingles, that's been missing time anyway. And then on the New York Knicks side, let's just go. Excuse me. Let's just look at the Knicks real quickly. Julius Randle, not going to talk too much about playing the Knicks tomorrow. Interesting. Okay. I'm looking at that real quick. Let's see. Just trying to find injury report. Give me 1 second. 1 second. A lot of Julius Randle stuff on here, which of course we knew that was coming because it'd be the first time that he's been back to Minnesota. So another reason why I wanted to kind of go through this game as well. Knicks injury report. Man, these beat reporters tweet a lot. My fault for not going through this already. Just want to make sure. Didn't see anybody on the injury report though, and I think we are fine. Yeah, it looks like we are fine for tomorrow as far as the injury report for the Knicks. I don't see anybody on there. If y'all see anything, y'all let me know in the chat. Not going to hold the show too much more for that. But let's get into the matchup here. So we got a really good matchup here. This line, I think, opened at 2 in favor of the Minnesota Timberwolves. So really tight game is what the books are expecting. This line has since moved. I want to say a half a point is to the consensus of a minus 2.5 for the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is an interesting line for me. This is very interesting. 2.5 everywhere, a 3 over on Caesars right now. Total open 213. It's up to 214.5. I see 215 over at DraftKings as well. And let's jump into the matchup. So we got a Knicks team that's playing really, really good basketball overall. They are 7-3 straight up in their last 10 games. They are, however, just 5-5 against the spread in their last 10. They won and covered against Orlando in Orlando the last time we saw them play. But they did fail to cover 3 straight games before that. One of them was against Toronto in Toronto. They also lost outright at home to the Detroit Pistons. And I can't remember who the game was before that, but I know the Knicks hadn't been covering right up until that game. Minnesota's kind of hitting their stride as well. They've actually won 6 of their last 7 games. They've covered 5 of their last 6 games. The only one that they didn't win or cover was against the Golden State Warriors, and that was the second leg of a road mini series between the Golden State Warriors in Golden State. 6 of their last 7 games have actually stayed under the total. This has been a very, 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 very good defensive team. So I kind of wanted to do this live on the show to see if I can get there with the play that I'm wanting to make more than anything else in this game. So we'll go through it. I will tell you guys this because this is what I did write down. Minnesota is 21st in pace over their last 5 games. The Knicks are 28th in pace over their last 5 games. So we got 2 slow-paced teams. Knicks are 6th in defensive rating over the last 5 games. So defensively, they've been playing really, really good. And we know Minnesota's defense has been, second to none. They're number 1 rated defensive team over the last 5 games. giving up just 90.8 points per 100 possessions over their last 5 games. So these are really two really good defensive teams. Unless you got, I'm pretty sure most people knew that, but just to put some numbers to that to kind of quantify it. We got a Knicks team offensively that's 11th in offensive rating. The Timberwolves team that's not really been scoring the basketball at a very efficient rate. 21st in offensive rating over the last 5 games. 23rd in offensive rating over the last 5 games. And also bottom 10 in effective field goal percentage. Having a little bit of trouble protecting the ball, 17th in turnover rate, not grabbing a ton of offensive rebounds. Knicks not allowing a ton of offensive rebounds, and the Minnesota Timberwolves also not getting to the free throw line that frequently. So I really wanted to get there with an under. This was kind of one, like I said, I wanted to talk out on the show specifically, and we'll start with just kind of matching the teams up on the floor. We know how much passion is going to be a part of this game. I didn't mention it because I think you guys probably know already. But as I mentioned, Dante DiVincenzo, right? First time playing against his team in a regular season game. We saw what happened for people who was watching when they played, the preseason game earlier this year. Him and, Jalen Brunson Pops kind of got into it as the game was ending. So you got all the animosity with Karl-Anthony Towns, of course, coming back to Minnesota. Julius Randle playing against his old team. So that, that's neither here nor there. And both teams are super well rested in this spot. So I'm looking at the Knicks offense specifically. They are a team that has been attacking the rim a lot recently. Last 5 games, they're actually second in rim frequency. About 39% of their shots are coming at the rim, and they're shooting it really well. Top 5 at rim accuracy, about 72%. Problem with that, if you like that for the Knicks, is that the Timberwolves have been excellent guarding the rim. This was one of the reasons we really liked them the other day when they were playing against the San Antonio Spurs, minus the 4.5 and minus the 2 in the first half. Number 4 in opponent rim frequency, number 1 in opponent rim accuracy over the last 5 games are the Minnesota Timberwolves. So that lends itself to an under in my estimation. The Knicks like to attack the rim. The Minnesota Timberwolves do a really good job of protecting the rim. When you get into paint frequency, paint accuracy, mid-range, all that stuff, the Knicks aren't shooting the ball well from those areas. Bottom 10 in all of those areas that I just talked about. As far as corner 3, they are shooting the 4th most. You got a Minnesota team that is doing a really good job of defending the 3-point line as well. I mean, they're doing a really good job of everything. They're the number 1 rim accuracy team, number 1 3-point accuracy team, holding teams to 28% from the 3-point line. Opponents are shooting 25.7% from the above the break 3, which something has to give because the Knicks are shooting the 3-point ball really well. It's also 3rd in accuracy over the last 5 games for the Knicks from the above the break 3 specifically. As we look into half-court offense versus half-court defense, the Knicks are top 10 offensively scoring in the half-court. Minnesota, number 1, giving up just 77 points per 100 possessions in the half-court. And the Knicks aren't playing fast, 25th in frequency, 13th in transition points per 100 possessions. Minnesota, top 6, actually 6th in both points allowed and frequency as far as transition buckets. So all of that lends itself towards the under. If we flip it and look at Minnesota offensively versus the Knicks defensively, we can see that Minnesota, like I said, their offense have been struggling. At the rim, not making a lot of shots, 27th in rim frequency and rim accuracy. They are shooting, it looks like a lot of shots in the paint, but not at the rim. 7th in frequency, 27th in accuracy though. So a lot of those shots aren't going in. Problematic for the Timberwolves because you got a Knicks team that's top 10 in both of those. Top 10 and top 5, frequency and accuracy for paint frequency and accuracy for their opponents. Timberwolves also shooting the 3-point shot really good. Above the break 3, they're 5th in accuracy, 10th in 5th in frequency, 10th in accuracy. But while the Knicks are allowing a bunch of threes to be attempted, they are doing a really good job of making sure that the opponents aren't making them. So 7th in accuracy, but 30th in frequency. So they are allowing the most above the break 3s over the last 5 games, but defending it well though. As far as half-court offense, like I said, the Timberwolves not doing a great job. 23rd in points scored per 100 possessions in half-court, and they are getting out and running. 12th in frequency, 5th in points scored per 100 possessions in transition. And the Knicks, they do a really good job. Top 10 and 13th in points per 100 possessions allowed in transition. So this all sets up for under, in my opinion. It looks like the Timberwolves are going to shoot a ton of threes. The Knicks can defend the 3-point line really well. And I think that the Knicks are going to try to get into the paint, and I think the Timberwolves are going to defend that really well. So I like under in the full game. I think that I disagree with the total going up. Probably watch it overnight, see what happened, but I can see this total going under. Like I said, 215 is available on DraftKings right now. Everywhere else has 214.5. I like the under. Let's go back to Outlier really quickly. I want to show you guys one more player prop I'm looking at, and then I'll jump into the comments real quick. We'll go through a couple more games, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. So let's get back to Outlier. So I want to go and look at Karl-Anthony Towns. So I did a night video not too long ago, when I think it might have been 2 Mondays ago, when we had the Knicks and the Toronto Raptors. A lot of people checked that video out. In that video, I really talked about liking Karl-Anthony Towns up and over his rebounds and assist prop specifically. I talked about how much that they cashed, and I kind of think that he's in a really good spot again to get that number again. The Timberwolves are a very elite rebounding team, but look at the green we see here, and it's only continuing to go up. It's almost like a little, I don't know, like a arch, just continue to go up. Hopefully finish up here somewhere about 30 in this game. This is Karl-Anthony Towns, his rebounds plus assist line. You can see here 22 rebounds, 19 rebounds, 15 rebounds, 16 rebounds. We'll talk about his rebounds as an individual stat in just a second. But Karl-Anthony Towns is killing, man. I'm pretty sure they probably going to try to put Rudy Gobert on him. I think he's going to be able to shoot the 3-point shot if they put Naz Reid on him. I think Naz Reid's not the greatest defender. He can play defense, but he can't guard Karl-Anthony Towns. So I do expect, Karl-Anthony Towns to go out there, rebound the basketball against Rudy Gobert. I expect him to be able to have some dimes as well. You can see his assists here, 5, 5, 6 in his last 3 games, Toronto, Atlanta, Orlando. And then you can also look at his potential assists, 8, 5, 6. Does have a 3-assist game in here, but they absolutely blew the Charlotte Hornets out in this spot, specifically in the second half. I remember this game. So you can see the potential assists are there. The rebounds are crazy. The rebound chances, 24, 23 straight games, 29, 30. The minutes, of course, we know Tibbs going to play his players into the ground. So 36 minutes per game. And you can even see fouls over here as well. You can see he's staying out of foul trouble every game except this Atlanta game, 4 fouls or less. So last 10 games, he's only averaging 3.6. So he's doing a pretty good job of staying out of foul trouble as well. So I do like Karl-Anthony Towns up and over this 16.5 rebounds and assists. If you wanted to play his rebounds straight, you can see here, it's kind of the same thing, right? This is rebounds and assists, 9 of the last 10. We just go to rebounds, 9 of the last 10. He's been an excellent rebounder in basketball. 22, 19, 15, 16, 15, 19. These are the last, 6 games? Last 6 games for him. 7, 8, 9. Only under came against Charlotte where he had just 12 rebounds. So, and I'm not even sure if his line was instead of 11.5 back then because he's gotten it so many times in a row. We already talked about rebound chances, but they're here. Minutes, of course, we talked about that as well. So couldn't talk anybody off Karl-Anthony Towns. I really like his rebounds and assist prop a little bit more than anything else because I think he will be doing some facilitation with the basketball. That's what I like here. Karl-Anthony Towns up and over his rebounds and assists. And I like the total. Like I said, I like the under in this game here. So get back to where we were, and then I'll go through the comments, see what you guys are thinking about this one. Let's see. Parlay Cat over his 15 rebounds. Monster on the boards. Like it. Cat over his 15.5 rebounds. Assists in this spot, Jalen says. So we definitely on the same page here. John says, think I'm feeling Cat 3s in this game versus Rudy. And it's going to be interesting to see if they put Rudy on him. I feel like Rudy's not going to be as efficient out there trying to guard him at the 3-point line. Probably look towards his under on rebounds. If they don't start Rudy, I'm not sure who's going to guard him. They don't really have anybody else that's going to be able to guard him, in my opinion. Sean says he grabbed Josh Hart over his 10.5 points. He's over in 9 of his last 10 and 18 of his last 20. That's a nice hit rate right there. 90% on both. Coop says Cat first game back. And Minnie, what up, Brian? He says Thunder yesterday. Oh boy. I was on the under and ladder Giannis to 15 rebounds. Let's get it tomorrow. Thanks for the show. Appreciate you for tapping in, Brian. Glad you cashed a couple of those for sure. Michael says Minnesota's been balling out, but I hear Jay in my head saying house of disappointment. Shout out to Jay Briggs, that is. Shout out to Jay Money as well too. But house of disappointment. I don't know, man. I think Minnesota can win this game. I think the Knicks can win the game too. I don't think I'm gonna pick a side. I think these are two teams that I don't necessarily want to bet on, bet against right now. I will say if there's any kind of nitpicking that I could do right off the top of my head, it's that the Knicks haven't looked as great on the road. I didn't even look into it, but I know off the top of my head that they've been much better at home. So they're 8-6 straight up on the road, 6-8 against the number, scoring 115, giving up 113. So a 2-point differential on the road. At home, 8-4 straight up, 6-5-1 against the number, winning by average of 11 points. So yeah, like I mentioned, they're much better at the crib than they are on the road. So yeah, take that for what it's worth. Sean says he grabbed the under, but I got a bad number at 213.5. So likes the under. I love the under. What up, Markel? He says past Knicks games, maybe a prop game. Yeah, I'm gonna play the total under 215 more than likely, and I'm gonna also grab Karl-Anthony Towns over his rebounds and assists. Free Sauce likes it as well. Bridges over his 17.5 points plus rebounds for Free Sauce as well. Says averaging 15 field goal attempts game and around 5 to 6 rebound chances as well. Leaning towards Knicks +2, Tasha says. I could see them winning the game. Free Sauce says he's going ladder cat rebounds. Bo knows says Knicks money line. Cat rebounds and assists been cash. I just pulled it up. Like the under, Brian says, New York +2. Julius Randle over his 18.5 points, PZ says. What up, Malik? Says, what up, my guy? You see any first half plays yet? Not anything for the first half yet, Malik. I typically like to play first half bets when, in my opinion, when I think a team is going to come out, super aggressive. Like I try not to just look at the stats specifically, but I like a bounce back spot early. And with all of the teams having, at least 2-3 days rest outside of the Cup team, which is the Oklahoma City Thunder, because the Milwaukee Bucks play on Friday against the Cleveland Cavaliers. We don't have like a super rest disadvantage. I guess you could look at the Houston game, but we'll talk about that one in a second as well. Derek says, I like cat rebounds and assists as well. Looks like a lot. He says it's been damn near automatic, and I agree with that. Waterhead 9000 says he says need Bridges over his 15.5 points in this spot. So a couple different ways you can play it there. Let's keep it moving. Next game I wanted to jump into, and this was another interesting game that I don't think has too much of injury implications, which is why I kind of picked this one to go through as well, and that'll be the Pacers and the Phoenix Suns for tomorrow. So I think Indiana, I'm gonna double check it real quick, but I think Indiana has a pretty clean injury report based on what we've seen recently. Don't think anybody else. So I'm seeing TJ McConnell going to be formally inducted into Arizona's Ring of Honor. That's pretty cool for him. Ben Shepherd update, injury report, could play Thursday versus Phoenix. Also, nobody released on the injury report for tomorrow's NBA game yet. No game tomorrow on account for the Cup final, but Rick Carlisle said Ben Shepherd might be able to play, and Shepherd said he's feeling good. So we know that Andrew Nembhard is going to be back, right? They also, now have Thomas Bryant. He played in that game the other day as well. So you're starting to slowly but surely get healthy. They're still going to miss Nesmith, in my opinion, of course. We know that, the Phoenix Suns have been an absolute juggernaut at the crib, especially with KD in and out, KD in the lineup. So looks like they have a pretty clean injury report. As far as the Phoenix side go, I did see a report earlier that it looks like Bradley Beal is going to play tomorrow. He's listed as probable. He's missed the last few games. Feels like he's always hurt, but I think he is listed as probable for this game tomorrow. So let me just double check it real quick. Oh, I'm looking at the Phoenix Mercury, not the Phoenix Suns. So this will be helpful if I change this up. Let's see. All right. So yeah, Bradley Beal, right knee swelling, probable for tomorrow. Yeah, looks like that's it. Looks like that is it that I'm seeing right now. And of course, things can change. Things can always change, but we'll just go with what we got right now. So we got a Pacers team. This is the first of a 3-game road trip for them, West Coast road trip for them. Off back-to-back wins, the Pacers beat the Philadelphia 76ers and New Orleans Pelicans. Back-to-back covers for them in both of those games as well. They've actually won and covered 3 of their last 4 games. The only game that they lost was the one that they laid that egg against the Charlotte Hornets for whatever reason, with the Hornets on the second leg of a road home back-to-back, a home road back-to-back. Like I said, they're starting to get a lot healthier with Nembhard back in the lineup. They're still just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games, though. So not sure if we're ready to quite trust them yet, at least in my opinion. The Phoenix Suns, second straight home game for them, back-to-back wins since KD returned. Phoenix beat the Portland Trail Blazers in their last game, didn't cover. And then they beat the Utah Jazz, did cover that game, I think, by a point, maybe a point and a half. Phoenix, just kind of looking at the numbers, the splits with KD on and off, it's drastic. 13-2 this season, straight up, with KD on the floor. 7-8 against the number, however, so still not covering with KD in. They're averaging 116 points, giving up 111 in the games with KD. In the games without KD, so they're +5 in point differential with KD on the floor. In the games without KD, 1-9 straight up, 2-8 against the spread, 8-2 to the over, scoring 111 points, 5 points lower than what they're averaging with KD, and giving up 119.5 points are the Phoenix Suns. So that's a drastic change there, right? 8 points, 8.5 points almost. So defense a lot better with KD, scoring of course a lot better as well. I'm looking at the spot. Phoenix had been pretty dominant over the Indiana Pacers. They had actually won 5 straight in the head-to-head matchup. But the last time that these two teams played, January 26th, so last season, Indiana actually got them 133-131 in that game. And that game went over a total that was pretty high at 243.5. On the opposite side, I just kind of gave you guys the numbers with KD on the floor. But if you look at the Pacers specifically with Nembhard being back, they're actually a lot better as well. They're +5.4, outscoring their opponents by about 5.5 points per 100 possessions with Nembhard on the floor, scoring about 114 points, giving up 108. With Nembhard off the floor, getting smoked though, -6.3 in the games without Nembhard, getting outscored by about 6.5 points per 100 possessions, scoring 113. Their defense also falls off, giving up 119.4. So you got, it seems like 2 of the better defensive players, for their respective teams, both playing in this game, pending any injuries or setback. And I'm thinking that they're both going to play. I always say this about the Pacers. I'm not like in a rush to go bet them, but I know that I don't necessarily want to lay too many points with the Suns. It feels like, the general public are afraid to lay points with the Suns. To fade the Suns. Because of how much offensive firepower they have. They are 7-1 as a home favorite this season, straight up. But only 2-6 against the number, winning by about 6 points per game. They didn't cover against the Trailblazers. They did cover against the Spurs, but they didn't cover against the Nets. They covered against the Lakers, and before that, they didn't cover against the Lakers, didn't cover against the Blazers, didn't cover against the 76ers, didn't cover against the Heat either. So this has been a team that, as a home favorite, they're not, 25% is not going to win you a bunch of money if you just blindly take, the 6.5 with the Phoenix Suns. One thing I found when I was looking into the Pacers is, I feel like if I want to play the Pacers, I always want to get them as a dog. I never want to lay too many points with the Pacers just because we know that their defense is super inconsistent. However, last 5 games, they don't. I'm giving you guys the numbers. It's all facts here. The Indiana Pacers, they have been playing against some mediocre offensive teams, but they're actually a top 6 off defensive rated team over the last 5 games, allowing 108.8 points per 100 possessions. They're 8th in opponent effective field goal percentage, 5th in turnover rate, and not getting a ton of offensive rebounds though. I didn't really want to match these two teams up on paper because I feel like the Phoenix Suns have been a shell of themselves. KD hasn't been back for 5 games, so looking at the sample of 5 games, only gonna have 2 games with KD. The other 3 won't have KD, but they are the 4th best offense over the last 5 games, 6th in effective field goal percentage, 4th in free throw rate as well. for what it's worth. But like I said, I would take all of that with a grain of salt here. I kind of feel like I want to take the Pacers here, man. I kind of do. I know I don't want them as a favorite. Like I said, they can be profitable as a dog. I think about them a lot. Like I think about the Atlanta Hawks. We know if we want the Hawks, we typically want to be catching points. Looking back into it, since the start of last season, non-conference road games with rest for the Pacers, where they are road dogs. So road dogs rested non-conference games, 6 and 7 straight up. They don't just cover these games; they win them. They actually win these games. Now, can they beat the Phoenix Suns? I'm not sure if they can actually go in there and beat them, but I think that they can keep it competitive. 7 and 6 against the spread in that same time frame, dating back to last season. They are allowing 124 points per game in this spot specifically. So I do think that, Phoenix is going to be able to score the basketball. Agree with the total moving up from 232.5 to 235, which is where it is now. I think, Indiana only wants to play one way, and that's fast. We know that they only want to play super fast. Their last 5 games, they've been a team that, has run really, really fast. The Phoenix Suns, however, and this is what was conflicting on the total, the Phoenix Suns have been more of a slower paced team. I was looking into this. I just share these numbers with you guys real quick. Last 5 games, Phoenix, I want to say, is bottom 10 in pace. They're 24th in pace over the last 5 games. Interesting number there because, like I said, we know the Pacers, they only want to play one way. They are 14th in pace over the last 5 games, but I do think that they want to just get up and down the floor. So this was a game, like I said, man, I got the Pacers written down. I think you can get a +7, even though consensus right now is 6.5. I think if I'm playing a game, man, I'm going to go ahead and take the 7. Take the 7 with the Pacers, thinking they can keep it within a possession or 2. Suns don't typically win by double digits. So I think the Pacers should be able to keep this one close. Do they let us down on the road again? Because they haven't been as great on the road, potentially. But I think with Nembhard being back, I'd rather be having the points in my pocket than laying here with the Suns. As a road dog this season, the Pacers 2-5 straight up, 3-4 against the number, losing by about 7 points, which is where this number is right now. 6 straight overs in this spot, 6-1 to the overall, scoring 117, but giving up 124 points per game in this spot. A lot of those games were without Andrew Nembhard. Like I said, their defense should get better in this spot. So that's what I'm thinking here. Let's see what you guys are thinking. Didn't really have any player props that stood out to me at all in this one. Paulo says, tailing the cat look. Let's cash it. Mark says he likes Minnesota to get the job done today. Brian says, hey, Chris, do you think the Thunder have a cup hangover first game back? We'll talk about that game in a second, Brian. I actually put a star beside that. We'll talk about that game. Pacers team total over 113 is what Tasha says. Is it 113? Let's see. That does seem a little low. I think pace alone should be able to get them there. I said they're 6-1 to the over as a road dog this season. Let's see. Can I find it? 113.5. Well, 114.5 is moved. 114.5 is the Pacers team total. The Phoenix Suns team total is 120.5. I think they can get to that 120 or 121, depending on how much juice you want to drink. I think they can get to that number as well. FanDuel, Obi Toppin off the books. If you can find them somewhere at 10.5, 11.5, or 12.5, consider taking it. Who is it? I think it was Miranda who came in and gave that out the other day, and I think it continued to cash. I want to say Obi is up and over his points prop. I heard the commentator say it the other day because I know he went up and over in the last game. Obi has been extremely consistent. I didn't break this game down this like going through it and looking at it on paper, like I said, because I think some of the tendencies for both teams will change with Nembhard being back and KD being back over the last 2 games. But yeah, I think Obi is in another good position in this game. I do think the Phoenix Suns are a little bit underrated as a defensive team. But I'm looking at Obi last 7 games. The number is 10.5. It looks like right now. Last 7 games for Obi, he's had 11 points or more in all 7 games. 7 straight games he's going up and over the total here. Averaging a little over 21 minutes per game, staying out of foul trouble, just 2 per game, shooting 42% from the 3-point line, making 1.9 threes out of 4.5 attempts. So he's doing really, I mean, he's hooping right now. He's definitely hooping. Couldn't talk anybody off looking at Obi. Obi up and over his points prop. Let me see what I can find the best number at real quick. And then I want to get through. We'll try to get through one more game real quick, and then one or two more games real quick. A couple of them I still got it. Like if I don't got the injury report, like I'll be honest with you guys. I'm always honest. Like I honestly don't want to try to cap it if I'm not sure who's gonna play and who's not gonna play. It's close to Christmas, man. Some of these players just want the day off. They don't got a Christmas Day game. They just want to, buy some Christmas presents. Obi is listed on Caesars, ESPN Bet365, Hard Rock, BetMGM. So he's listed everywhere except FanDuel and DraftKings right now. 10.5 points for Obi, minus 106 on Caesars. Sean, best number I see available to me. With KD on the floor, they closed at home. Phoenix minus 6.5 for Bryant. I would go opposite, but okay. Freesaw says he likes Obi over his 1.5 assists. Says, just trust me here. It's going to hit in the first quarter. I do see that hitting 10 straight, hitting 8 of the last 10 in 5 straight games here for Obi Toppin. He's up and over his 1.5 assists in 8 of his last 10 games. The game that he missed versus Memphis and Toronto, he had 1 assist. So on the hook in both of those. Shout out to Free Sauce for dropping that in. Malik says over, or whatever Kendrick said. I see a lot of points in this one. I wouldn't play under. Not catching that falling knife with an under here. Pacers horrible on the road. Money line for the Suns. Suns is not gonna lie. I love the +7. The Suns have a difficult time closing games, and it seems like Holly is getting his swag back recently, and I would agree with that. Also getting Nemhard back and putting Furphy on the bench. Furphy's also playing a little bit better. I don't want to disrespect him, but putting him on the bench where he belongs, not playing as many minutes, I think has been helpful for the team as well. Obi Toppin is going over his 10.5 points, like Brad says. Obi is on DraftKings, Sean says. I don't see him on the live eye screen on DraftKings, but he could potentially be there. Pacers and Suns, too inconsistent for me to bet, Waterhead says. Pacers +6.5 for CG. Okay, lot of love, it feels like, for the Pacers. I like the Pacers in this spot. Tyus Jones over his 11.5 points. He had went over in his last 5 games and has scored 19 points in the last 2 games. D. Will says Pacers on the money line here. Chloe Parlay Guru says, can you go over why that Nuggets game is moving so much? It opened at 228. Let's see if we can. I don't even know if I made a graphic for that one or not, but let's keep it moving. I'll start that comment and see if we got enough time to come back to it. Gonna be wrapping up here. Well, actually, I don't think it's too many more games I want to go through. Actually, I don't really want to go through this game either. Lakers and Kings. I'm not sure why I even made this. I mean, I made a graphic because I'm gonna go through all of them. The ones I don't go through tonight, I'll go through tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune in for the live show in the morning. We'll probably start at about 7:30. But Lakers and Kings. So LeBron is listed as questionable in this game. Injury management. I'm guessing he's going to play. He has played, one game in the last, almost week and a half at this point now. I would expect him to be out there. This line opened 3.5 with the LeBron James news being listed as questionable. It's moved to 4.5, of course. The total opened 228. It's up to 230. I think I would agree with the movement going there. If I'm looking at the two teams, Anthony Davis also listed as probable in this game. I think that's important to mention. If I'm looking at the two teams, the Lakers are one thing I did look at was the Lakers offense. It's been pretty bad recently. Actually, the worst offensive rated team over the last 5 games. This offense is worse than the Wizards offense, which, I mean, that's bad. Lakers also playing, they are playing with pace. 101 is their pace in the last 5 games, which is in the top half of the league. But like I said, their offense has been really, really bad. The Kings playing fast, 7th in pace, last 5 games. Number 1 offensive rated team last 5 games. Top 10 defensive rated team last 5 games. And that's even with them giving up 140 points to the Denver Nuggets the last time that we saw them play. I'm sorry, not 140, 130 points to the Denver Nuggets the last time we saw them play. They did beat the Pelicans in New Orleans, didn't cover that game. We was on the over. All of a sudden, they couldn't score the basketball in that game, but then got back to 129. They really frustrate me, man. Like, the Kings are one of those teams that's kind of Jekyll and Hyde. The Lakers also played the Sacramento Kings again, for what it's worth, in Sacramento again as well. Both games in Sacramento, so they'll play them tomorrow, which is Thursday. They'll play them again on Saturday in Sacramento. Head-to-head wise, the Kings do own the Lakers. The Lakers did get it. They did get them at the beginning of the season. 131 to 127. That game was played in LA. I think it might have been the second game of the season when the Lakers were actually playing really well. But the Kings own the Lakers. This is the team that they always get up for. 8-2 straight up. 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games, and that includes the one for today's game, is the one for tomorrow's game as well. Lakers were laying 1 point the last time that these teams played on October 26th, and like I said, they won the game by 4. But it's been a really long time since the Lakers won in Sacramento. They won a game. What was this? Not last year, but 2 years ago in Sacramento by 2 points, getting 8 points. But outside of that, this is a team that, trust me, I know the Kings own. I am a Laker fan. The Kings own us. 7-3 to the overall, the totals in the last 10 games. But the Lakers have been more of an under team recently. 8-2 to the under. Offense just, for whatever reason, can't get going. They did beat the Memphis Grizzlies the last time we saw them play, and they held Memphis in check in that game. 116 to 110. That game went well under the 234.5 points, and that total was actually getting bet up. But that was a Sunday. We know crazy things happen on Sunday. Kings 7-3 to the over in their last 10 games. I just mentioned them being the top 5, the number one offensive rated teams over the last 5 games. To me, this game comes down to 3-point shooting. We know that the Lakers don't shoot the three-point shot well at all. And the Sacramento Kings, they have been shooting the 3-point shot a little bit better. Malik Monk, they didn't have Keegan Murray. I'm not sure if Keegan Murray is going to play in this game or not, but he is paramount in my opinion. I think you definitely want to know whether he's going to play or not, especially if you like Sacramento, because they'll need him defensively in this game, in my opinion. Let's see if I can find anything about Keegan Murray real quick. I absolutely love the beat writers that cover the Kings. You get so much insight, man. If you guys are interested, I always got those beat reporter lists over on Twitter under my Twitter handle, so you guys can click on those beat reporter lists and read up on the teams, listen to what the coaches are talking about. It's so much insight. I spend hours doing this stuff when I'm handicapping the games. Just looking for injury report. I don't feel like I see anything here. Yeah, I don't see anything at all about the injury report. Let's see. Kings practiced today, but wasn't a live practice with contact. Therefore, most everyone participated with the exception of Sabonis and Keegan Murray. So yeah, the Keegan Murray not practicing today is, I think, is pretty problematic with him missing that game, last game. I would think that he would at least practice, especially with them having so many days off since they played Denver the last time. I think it's been at least 2 days since they played Denver. So that's not good. Not sure why Sabonis didn't practice, but I would need to look a little bit more into that. Definitely need to look a little bit more into that if I want to lay the points with Sacramento. Prop wise, let's go into one that I want to talk to you guys about here. We'll keep it moving on this game after that. I think we'd be remiss without mentioning this guy, and that is going to be Malik Monk. Specifically, his, and I don't want 2, I just want 1. Malik Monk, specifically his assist prop. Crushing this line. You guys can see it from there. Look at that. Last 7 games, we know he got inserted into the starting lineup. I think it was this game here against San Antonio. 6 assists, 12 assists. Missed on the hook against Memphis with 5 in Memphis. Got the Spurs for 6. Utah, he only had 3, but I'm pretty sure he only had 5 potential assists in that game. Only played 26 minutes too. You can see that this was the lowest amount of minutes that he's played, because they smoked him so bad. That game was 141 to 97. Like, that was an absolute massacre. But yeah, look at Monk assists. I mean, these numbers are crazy. See the minutes are there. He's getting his starter minutes now. potential assists are there as well. You see the potentials. And with the game, I guess potentially, being close, this is a really good number here for Malik Monk up and over his 5.5 assists at -105. You can see that the Lakers here are giving up the fifth most assists to overall in general to the teams that they're playing against the point guard position, which he has been playing a little bit of point guard with De'Aaron Fox playing a little bit of two guard. You can kind of say that they're interchangeable. 23rd are the Lakers, so bottom 10 in assists given up to the point guard position. Also, if you want to say he's a shooting guard, look at that. Third most assists given up to the shooting guard position. So Lakers doing a terrible job giving up assists to the guard positions as well. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys that one specifically. We look at last 5 games, a lot of green. Like I said, last 10 games, this was the game that he became a starter, I want to say, right here against the San Antonio Spurs. He played 36 minutes in that game. You can see he's had 31 minutes or more in every single game except this one here where it was a blowout. So take that into consideration. I like Malik Monk up his 5.5 assists. That's something I do have on my short list. Let's go through a couple of the comments real quick and we'll keep it moving. See what you guys are thinking about this one, if anything at all. Waterhead already said it. I like Fox over his 6.5 assists. Lakers, nothing to believe that defense is fixed. Sorry to say it, Sacramento for me, Brian says. Kings money line. They trying to get the loss out of their mouth, the last one. Tasha says she likes the Kings. Lightbearer says DeMar DeRozan, Malik Monk, and De'Aaron points all over their points prop. God, it was a lot of players. Okay. Are the Kings still bottom 5 in 3-point defense? Let's look into that real quick. Let's look into the Kings 3-point defense. Even if they are, Coop, I know you don't like the Lakers to make no threes. The Lakers 3-point shooting is atrocious, man. They shoot like the Wizards from the 3-point line. Let's put some numbers to it though. So last 5 games, Lakers are 25th in 3-point frequency, 18th in 3-point accuracy. So they are shooting just south of 35%, 34.8. That's not too bad. It's not terrible at all. Above the break 3, 10th in above the break 3 accuracy. The Sacramento Kings are slowly but surely fixing their 3-point defense, cool. On the season, second worst behind, I think, only the Atlanta Hawks. 29th in all 3 accuracy, 29th in all 3 frequency. So teams are shooting 41.2% of their shots from the 3-point line against the Sacramento Kings on the full season, and shooting 38.5%, which both of those put, like I said, bottom 2. Last 5 games, however, they've gotten those numbers down. 36.5% of what teams are shooting. That 2% drop knocks you down from 29th for the full season all the way to 14th for the last 5 games. So their 3-point defense has been absolutely a lot better. They're also doing a really good job of running teams off the 3-point line. Above the break 3-point frequency for the full season is 22nd, so they're bottom 10. Last 5 games, they're actually 6th. So they are running teams off the 3-point line. They do a really good job protecting the rim, 10th and 13th in frequency and accuracy over the last 5 games. So yeah, there you go, Coop. 3-point defense has been a lot better. Lakers, like I said, not shooting the 3-point shot well at all. Reeves over his points plus rebounds for CG3. Sabonis fell off. He fell hard last game right before the half. Hefe says finished the game but looked hobbled second half. Okay, I did not see that, so I appreciate you for mentioning that, Hefe. I got to check in on Sabonis. I'll listen to some of the stuff, some of the post game stuff tonight. Ski been killing that Malik Monk over his points prop. Yeah, Ski been right. I ain't never seen Ski play so many props in my life, man. But I'm glad he been cashing. Sometimes you gotta switch it up, and I feel the same way sometimes. You know, the sides and the ATS and the totals can be tricky, but sometimes you just gotta ride with the props, man. You gotta ride with the props. Me and Ski was actually texting on what's today? Today Thursday. We were texting on Tuesday about the Cup game, and he wouldn't have been right on them ones because we were on the opposite side. He liked De'Aaron. He liked Isaiah Hartenstein under his rebounds, and I told him it was going to be a bounce back. And then I think we both agreed on Dame to go under his 23.5 points, though. So yeah, Ski wouldn't have been right on that one, but hope he got some cash, whatever he did end up betting. Brian says if Keegan, Murray, it's a bonus play, just take Sacramento. Let's move on to the next game. Thanks, Chris. Fox over is 15.5 in the parlay. King spot, BJ says. BJ says they play again on Saturday. I did mention that. I did mention that already, BJ. All right, let's go over. Let's see if we can get. I think I got. Yeah, so this is a game I am interested in. I want to talk to you guys about this one real quick. No player prop in this one, but I do want to talk about this game. We got the Pelicans and the Rockets. Looks like 10.5 is the consensus of the number. So I do want to go through the injury report really quickly, but I did tell you guys what I saw real quick, and then I'll double check behind myself. Jordan Hawkins has actually been upgraded to questionable on the Pelicans side. I do think that he's probably going to get some run in this game, in my opinion. I think he should. If he does come back, I think he's going to be an integral part. I think I'm not sure how much impact he's going to have in the first game back, but I could see him having a nice little role here. I want to say that's it for the Pelicans. Of course, they'll continue to be without the normal guys, but let's see. Daniel Tice is out for personal reasons. That's not great if you like the Pelicans. Brandon Ingram, of course, is out. No Jose Alvarado. Of course, Zion is out as well. So that's the updated injury report. The play I like it even better now. All right. So next up, we got the Houston Rockets side of things. So the Rockets will be, I want to say they should be pretty healthy as well. If anything hurt, it should just be their feelings, the way that they couldn't make a 3-point shot the other night against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Just double check. I think they should be good though. I want to say they should be good. I haven't seen anything that would make me think that any of these guys aren't going to play. So I do feel like they're going to play. Rockets should have a clean injury report. We'll go with that. But no, I don't see anything. I just see them sending people to the Rio Grande Valley Vipers, which is their G League team. Yeah, no injury report. We'll just go with no injury report, but I don't see anything. All right, so I'm looking at the Rockets in this game. So real quick, I'll give you guys just a quick breakdown of the game. Really quickly, this will be the first time that we got the Pelicans do have a major rest advantage here. Of course, they haven't played since the 15th, so 3 days off for them. Whereas the Houston Rockets played on the 14th. Pelicans played after that. They did. Okay, so the Rockets actually got the rest advantage. Okay, which is even better. So Pelicans 1-9 straight up in their last 10 games. They are 5-5 against the spread. We know that the Pelicans have been an absolute fade on the road. They are 1-13 on the road, 3-11 against the number, losing by an average of 15 points per game. They did cover against the San Antonio Spurs, but that's the only cover they have in the last 4 games. They got smoked by the Knicks, got smoked by the Hawks, and got smoked by the Pacers as well. Lost that game by 15, getting 7 points in that last game. On the opposite side, we got the Houston Rockets, who at the crib, we know that they ball. They are 10-3 straight up at the crib, 9-4 against the number, winning by right at this margin, right about 10 points. Last time that they were at home, they did beat the Warriors in the Cup game, also beat the Thunder in the Cup game, not in the Cup game, but beat the Thunder on that Sunday as well. We were on the under in that spot, got smoked. And then before the last actual loss, straight up loss that they have actually came against the Trailblazers, and that was a back-to-back, Saturday, Sunday back-to-back, where they had beat up on the Portland Trailblazers the night before. So we know this is a really, really good home team. I do think the shots are going to fall for them as well in this spot when I was going through and looking at the numbers. So let me just read what I have in my notes. So what I wrote in my notes is should be able to get a lot of their own misses for the Houston Rockets. So if there's a discrepancy, something that you don't like about the Houston Rockets, man, is that they can really struggle to put the ball in the rim. Like this is like if you watch, I'd rather watch paint dry than to watch them keep shooting threes against the Oklahoma City Thunder the other day. I mean, they can be really putrid at shooting the ball from the 3-point line. However, to my point, if I look at the New Orleans Pelicans, if I can find them, just looking at the two teams on paper, right? So the Houston Rockets are the number one offensive rebounding team in the league on the full season. 33.9% of their shots they actually getting the offensive rebound for. That's more than 1 in every 3 shots they get their own rebound. Last 5 games hasn't really changed a lot. 5th in offensive rebounding rate, 30.3% of their shots. So that's 1 in every 3 misses they're getting their own rebound. Why that's big is because they don't score the ball well. Last 5 games, this is the 3rd worst offense in the NBA, shooting the worst effective field goal percentage, which is a combination of 2s and 3s. Over the last 5 games, they're shooting 47.9%. And we know they were in some, playing some really tough teams. They had the Warriors in the cup game, had the Thunder in the cup game, 2 of the, better defensive teams, especially given the situation that they were in for those games. So even if Houston can't score the basketball, which I'm thinking that they can, because I do like I said, the offensive rebound, if they struggle with their shot, they should be able to rebound their own shots though in this spot. The Pelicans allowing teams to grab 30% of their misses, which ranks them bottom 5 here. So that sets up really well for Houston. Either the shots go in, which they do shoot a little bit better at home than they do on the road, or they get their own misses. I think either one of those things can happen in this spot. I think Houston can play. When I was listening to Coach Ime Udoka talk about 2 days ago, not yesterday, but 2 days ago, yesterday, him talk about, what they need to do a little bit different. He mentioned pace, like trying to get out and get some easier looks when their shots aren't falling, trying to play a little bit more inside out with Sengun versus, having Fred VanVleet do everything. So I think that they bounce back here. I do think it's a double-digit win against the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm looking at their half-court offense. It's been terrible. Like I said, they're not scoring the ball well, only 82.2 points per 100 possessions, but you get a much worse opponent here as far as defense. The Pelicans defense is god-awful. 118 points is what they're giving up on the road in their 14 home games so far this season. Looks like they've allowed 3 straight opponents to go up and over their team total. Pacers score 119, Spurs score 121, Hawks score 124, the Knicks score 118, the Grizzlies score 120, Pacers score 114, Cavs score 128, Mavs score 132. I can keep going, but you guys get the point. Houston should be able to score the basketball, even though their offense has been pretty bad over the last 5 games. And like I said, if they don't, they are the 2nd best offensive rebounding team in the half court. So I do expect them to be able to grab some boards. Also, if they want to play fast, like I mentioned, that Coach Ime Udoka mentioned, they can absolutely get out and run in this spot. They on the full season, they are 6th in frequency, 3rd in points scored in transition. But over the last 5 games, they have slowed down 14 and 14 in both of those spots. The reason this is important is because the Pelicans, one of the reasons they got smoked against the Pacers, not a good transition defense. 24th in frequency, 28th in points allowed per 100 possessions in transition. So they give up the 3rd most points in transition. I think Houston should be able to lock them down. On the opposite side, the Pelicans, like their offense doesn't really scare me a lot at all. They just shoot a ton of threes. They remind me a little bit of the Lakers. They shoot a ton of threes and none of them go in. To put some numbers to that real quick, they are 15th in points scored per 100 possessions over the last 5 games. But like I said, the 3-point shooting has been really, really bad, and that's the only place they're really shooting the ball from. Well, no, it's not the only place they're shooting the ball from, but they are shooting a ton of shots from there, and they're shooting it bad. Bottom 10 in overall 3-point accuracy, bottom 10 in above the break 3 accuracy. Well, 17th in above the break 3 accuracy, but not shooting a ton of shots from there. The Rockets have been really good against the 3-point shot. 6th in frequency, 6th in accuracy on the full season. They're number 1 in frequency, 7th in accuracy. So I do expect them to, be able to limit this New Orleans Pelicans team. The Pelicans have been pushing with a little bit more pace since they've gotten healthier. 9th in frequency, actually number 1 in points scored per 100 possessions. That's problematic because Houston is the best transition defense over the last 5 games. As far as the points allowed per 100 possessions. So I do expect the Houston Rockets to get up for this game. I like them minus the 10. I do think it's a double-digit win here, in my opinion. So that's the breakdown for this one. Let's go through the comments real quick and see what you guys are thinking about this one, if anything at all. Missy rebounds, Kristen says. Somebody gonna have to go down there and get him. I already mentioned Daniel Tice being out. I'm not even sure who they have as they only got 2 centers. So without Daniel Tice, I'm not even sure who the other center is going to be for this team. Significant advantage on the rebound, on the glass, in my opinion, offense and defense. Like, the Pelicans shouldn't be able to get any second chance opportunities. They should get one shot, a lot of one and dones for them. What is their team total? I'm probably not going to get on the team total, but I like the -10. You can still get 10, even though you see 10.5 on the screen right now. This actually opened 9.5 yesterday. Pelicans team total is 103.5. That's a little too low for my blood, but I could see Houston, their team total is 114. I could see them going up and over that pretty easily. Markel says Rockets should win by 30. Thompson over his 4.5 field goal makes, Waterhead said. Malik says, can we start calling them the team from New Orleans? Rockets are nothing here. He likes them as well. Houston, we have a problem at the crib. Just land the shots. We need to land the shots. Parlaying them. God got us likes a lot of parlay money lines. He just says the Pelicans trash. Markel says -20 for first half for the Rockets. What is that first half number? I know that they've been really, really good in the first half specifically. Let's see if I can pull that up real quick. Tomorrow is the 19th. All right, so Pelicans, Rockets. Let's see, first half numbers, and I'll share my screen too so you guys can see this as well. Now I'm going to the Money Baller. There's also a promo code in the description of the video if you guys are interested in checking out Money Baller. You can get 50% off with the discount code here as well. But you can see Pelicans and Rockets for tomorrow. Spread up here, total up here. You can see Pelicans 5-22 on the season, winning 18% of their games. Same thing for the Rockets, 17-9, 65% of their games. See schedule spot. Houston plays. Pelicans got the Knicks up next at home on Saturday. The Rockets got Toronto in Toronto on, it looks like Sunday. I think the 22nd is Sunday. So you come down, you can see historical matchups. Houston lost the last time that these two teams played back on February the 22nd. Pelicans won 127-105. Blah, blah, blah. Here's efficiency stuff and first four factor stuff, scoring stuff for the full season. You can like segue this to last 20 games, last 10 games, and last 5 games if you hit the drop down menu here. Inside the arc, 3-point shooting, you can compare the numbers, straight up records here. Red is bad, green is great. And you can see against the spread here, you can see the Rockets at the crib. Overall, in the first half, 18-8. Rockets have been much better at home. Rockets have been much better in the first half in general. You can see that they don't cover for the full game, 16-10. So numbers dropped off a little bit from the first half to the full game. At home as a favorite, 8-3 against the number. So this is a really good road team, a really good home team. You can see here for the Pelicans, makes a lot of sense. Look at that, 3-8 against the number in the first half. As a road, AD means road dog here. So as a road dog, the Pelicans get smoked most of the time. As a home favorite, the Rockets cover a lot of the time. Pelicans for the full game as a road dog, 11 times so far this season, only 3-8 against the number, which is a good number for the Rockets too, 7-4 against the number here as a home favorite for the full game. With the rest advantage, you can see that the Rockets are 3-0 in the first half and 3-0 for the full game against the spread here. And you got some over-under trends if you guys are interested in looking at that. You can see that the Rockets' opponents' team total, look at this, 9-1-1 to the under. So the Rockets do a great job of holding their opponents under their team total for the full game. For the first half, their opponents are 8-3 to the under on their team total as well. That's why I love Money Baller so much, man. Down here, you can see ATS ranges. The Pelicans is a double-digit dog so far this season, only 2-4. So they don't even typically cover frequently, even when they're getting double digits. And you can see that the Rockets have been double-digit favorites 3 times. This 2-1 against the number, covered two of the 3 so far this season. All right, so enough of Moneyballer. Like I said, if you guys are interested in checking out the rest of the games, you can check those out over on Moneyballer. There's like I said, a description, link in the description of the video. If you guys are interested in checking that out. I think that's the last game I want to go through. I feel like I've been on here for way too long already. But shout out to Markel for pointing this out. Let's see, real quick, first half number. Best number you can get for Houston right now is 6.5 at -110 over on ESPN Bet. That may even drop to 6 tomorrow. It's a lot more inflated. This should be 5 if the full game is 10. But it's going to be, a bigger line in the first half specifically because the Pelicans suck. Rockets trifecta, LJ says. Riding with his guys here. What up, Will? Says, what up, though? Pelicans team total under. Based on Moneyballer, yeah, it does look like an under spot. I don't know if I'm going to play it, though. BJ says, Chris, you think it's a letdown spot for the teams in the cup? I don't think so, BJ. I'm glad you asked. There's a tweet that I don't know if I screenshotted it or if I bookmarked it on Twitter. There was a tweet. No, I actually screenshotted it. So matter of fact, that's a perfect segue. We'll talk about this in a second. Derek says, I think I have a good look on a couple PJ Washington props that would be better to get in tonight versus waiting for them tomorrow after the injury comes out potentially. We'll see. What you got though, Derek? Let us know what you got. Appreciate you for tapping in, Free Sauce. First half, yeah, that's a good bet. Let's cash it. LJ says no Bulls. Celtics breakdown. Nah, just because what did I have in the Bulls and Celtics? In my notes, what I write? The total was extremely high. Porzingis is questionable. Excuse me, Sam Hauser's questionable with a back injury. Josh Giddey unlikely to play. I remember the Celtics. I feel like they didn't take that game serious the last time that they played them. So I didn't really look too much into the game, if I'm being honest. Like, do you really want to lay 14.5 points with the Celtics? I know I don't, even if they are at home. It would only be, a look towards the Bulls. But the Celtics own the Bulls. They beat them 8 of the last 10 games. Chicago did cover. The only matchup that they played earlier, they were getting 12 points in that game. They lost the game by 9. It did go over the 243.5. I feel like the Bulls have been playing some pretty good defense in their last few games as well. Even though Toronto did get 121 points up against them, they've been like the Bulls are playing a lot better than I thought they would. Man, they've won 4 of their last 6 games. Losses came to the Pacers and to the Philadelphia 76ers. They're so Jekyll and Hyde. I have no idea what to do with that team. Over, under, over. And it's the first of a little mini back-to-back. I don't know if you looked at that or not, LJ, but they play the Celtics again on the 21st. So they'll play again on Saturday, and both games will be in Boston. I hate when that happens. I'd rather bet on the second one than the first one. Celtics haven't been covering 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. Didn't even cover against the Wizards, laying 17 points when last time we saw them play. I think that was on Sunday. We cashed the team total under for the Wizards in that game. Next game is in Chicago. This one is in Boston, though, between the two teams. So, yeah, I didn't really look too much into that. Let's see. What else? GLB Best says kind of like the under in the Celtics game, too. Let me know why, GLB Best. I know you got a trend for it. LJ says Bulls team total over on the road is 10-2. So, thinking that they can score and run it up in this game. Yeah, I need to look a little bit deeper into it. I feel like the Bulls have been doing a pretty good job of defending the 3-point line. I could be tripping, but I feel like the last time I looked at Chicago, they were defending the 3-point line well. Yeah, they're actually the 4th best defense in the NBA right now, defending the 3-point line. 5th in opponent 3-point accuracy. Last 5 games, I mean, you can take it for what it's worth because Boston is probably, they don't care if they shot 1,000 threes and only made 1. They're going to keep chucking. Boston's number 1 in 3-point frequency, of course. 52% of the Boston Celtics shots have come from the 3-point line. That's more than every other shot that's come from the 3-point line for the Boston Celtics over the last 5 games and on the full season. So they are shooting the most threes. The Bulls are defending the 3-point line really, really well, running teams off the 3-point line. second best in opponent 3-point frequency, and fourth in opponent 3-point accuracy over the last 5 games. Holding teams at 32%, which is really good in today's NBA. So no idea what to do with this game. No, I still don't want to take under. I don't think they're going to be able to hold Boston down like that, but I have no idea what happens in this game, man. Probably just take the points with the Bulls. I think, last 5 games, they're actually a +3 in point differential. The Celtics are winning by about 11 points in their last few games. So 14.5 is a big number. I don't know if Boston wants to get up for this one. So I would probably take the points with the Bulls. The Bulls team total right now is don't like it as much with Josh Giddey because I feel like they need him for offense. But Bulls team total is 113.5. If you got Bet Rivers, you can get a 112.5 juice to -118. But it looks like about 113.5. Hard Rock actually got 114.5. ESPN Bet actually got 114.5. So you can get 112, 113, or 114.5. Definitely got to shop around. Derek says he liked PJ Washington over his 19.5 points and over his 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Luka has missed practice last 2 days with a heel injury, averaging 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists without Luka in 6 games. I love this look here, Derek. That was one of the reasons why I didn't handicap, do this game on the show, and I probably won't talk about it tomorrow either. But I love this number, PJ Washington over his 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Love that look from Derek in the chat for sure. Appreciate you, Derek, for dropping that off. I did see that Luka didn't practice yesterday. He didn't practice today, like Derek said. Kyrie didn't practice yesterday, but he did practice today. So maybe Kyrie plays and Luka doesn't play tomorrow. They do have a big matchup. Who do they play? I think they got the Clippers tomorrow, right? They got the Clippers tomorrow. The game's in Dallas. We've seen and I think that they were laying, what was it, like 7 points, I want to say. We've seen Dallas play really, really good basketball without Luka this season. They got impressive win in OKC earlier this season without Luka. So I wouldn't count out Dallas. I think the Clippers are expected to get Derrick Jones Jr. potentially could return. Yeah, he's listed as questionable. So yeah, I got some work to do in that game, but yeah, I got a little work to do in that game for sure. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, honestly, but I do like this look a lot by Derek. Appreciate you for sharing that. Malik says, hey, don't sleep on my Bulls, man. We get those sneaky wins against teams we shouldn't beat. That's a fact, Derek. I'm not laying 14.5 with the Celtics. Not laying 14.5 with the Celtics at all. Parquet says, just joining what y'all doing, capping and chatting. Something like that. Derek says last 3 with Luka, he's had 19, and 18 points, rebounds, and assists. So even if he's active, he's live to get the number, even with him in. I like it, Derek. And he throwing out a little double-double at plus 650, 675. Little PJ Washington double-double. Don't let me talk you off. Let's see. Double-double for PJ. Ooh. Bally Bet. If you guys got access to Bally Bet and Bet Rivers, got PJ Washington double-double at plus 900 for tomorrow. Plus 900 double-double. Appreciate you, Derek. I might have to dabble, man. Might have to dabble. Just a little bit, just a little sprinkle. You don't go too crazy on a plus 900. But yeah, Bet Rivers might see me tonight. Bet Rivers might see me tonight, man. Like it a lot. Brian says Denver first quarter tomorrow. No idea. Didn't really look too much in that. What's up, Trevor? Appreciate you for tapping in. GLB Best says for the Celtics under this season, double-digit home favorites in games with a total of 230 or greater are 14-6 to the under. Oh, we talked about this there. I got the same trend. We did talk about that. I think we talked about it against, I think it might have been a Cleveland game. Cleveland versus Washington or something last week. I do remember this one. Yeah, I got that one written down. I didn't even look into my systems yet. TC Best says he likes Knicks Claxton to get a double-double with no Jakob Poeltl. I could not talk you off. Those numbers without Poeltl are bad for Portland. For Toronto. I was looking for RJ Barrett rebounds and assists. I know Scotty Barnes is upgraded to questionable for tomorrow after missing the last few games. We'll see what happens with him, but didn't quite get there with not that I didn't get there. RJ Barrett rebounds and assists wasn't listed. I don't even think RJ Barrett props are listed. I was looking for his points. I couldn't find anything with RJ Barrett. If y'all see RJ Barrett props, y'all let me know. Could not find RJ Barrett props anywhere. when I look for it. And that was like right before the show too. Let's see. Oh, then they listed. Okay, 25.5 points for RJ Barrett tomorrow. I see them listed now. When I checked earlier, they were not available at all. His rebounds specifically, I feel like RJ could be one of the guys that go in there and clean up the glass. 7.5 at plus money for RJ Barrett, plus 105 right now. Only available on DraftKings and FanDuel right now is what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing him at. So I'm gonna write down RJ Barrett as well. Not gonna pull this up on the screen, but I do want to just kind of. I'll do it offline. I'm gonna look at it now, but I do kind of want to see what RJ rebounds potentially could look like in this spot. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. Yeah, I like it a lot. Okay, Nicholas Claxton, double. Don't let me talk you off. What up, Cup of Joe? He says, "What's good, Chris? Didn't know you were going to do it." I wasn't. I was like, let me just try to get ahead. So that's why I'm doing the show tonight. Sean says, "Good work to Derek, showing him some love." What up, Fahrenheit? Appreciate you for tapping in, bro. As always. Says, "Buy some merch, become a member." Appreciate all that, man. What up, Mitchell? He says, "We still on here. Love to see it." Yeah, I'm about to jump off. About to go horse. I've been talking so much. Lightbearer says Derek Lively has went over his points and rebounds and assists line in 4 of his last 5 games. Okay, I like it. I like it against Zubac, Big Zubac tomorrow. All right. Did I have anything else on here? Thunder and Magic. I'm not gonna break this one down too much, but to the point that was made up here, because I did start a couple comments. This one by Brian right here. Almost an hour ago. He says, "Hey Chris, do you think that the Thunder have a cup hangover first game back?" I don't think so. Like, I really don't. This line was at 5.5. I see it all the way up to 7 now. So people are betting the Thunder to be in a bounce back spot. I think that they should be able to win this game too. We got to remember the Magic will still be super short-handed. No Paolo Banchero, no Franz Wagner. Orlando, of course, OKC, of course, they just lose a lot of energy. I don't think they had anything to celebrate in that last game, though. So I don't think it's going to be too much of a hangover, in my opinion. What I had in my notes was OKC playing on just 1 day's rest, coming off the cup loss, of course. This is the first leg of a back-to-back. They got a game against the Miami Heat tomorrow. So for all the teams to play tomorrow, only the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Charlotte Hornets are on the first leg of a back-to-back tomorrow. Charlotte plays Washington tonight. And I forgot who they play tomorrow, but they're on the first leg of a back-to-back. As far as getting back to this game here, Charlotte plays Philly tomorrow. That's who they play. They play Philly for like the 3rd time in less than 2 weeks. But first leg of a back-to-back for the Oklahoma City Thunder tomorrow. They play Miami. They had won and covered 5 straight games before, shooting 3,000-4,000 in the game last night in the Cup game, and they had covered all 5 of their games as well before running into the Bucks. The Magic do have a major rest advantage here, 3 days of rest in this spot. They also off back-to-back losses, so I do think that they're going to be super motivated. We know that they play better at the crib. Lost to the Knicks. That was their first home loss of the season. Before that, they were eliminated in the Cup game as well to the Milwaukee Bucks, and they host Miami on Saturday. So it'll be a second straight home game for them here, and they don't have to travel anymore after that. As far as head-to-head stuff, OKC has played this team really well. They've won 7 of the last 10, covered 3 straight. And they've covered the earlier one as well. I think that was one of the first games that Paolo got hurt. They beat OKC beat Orlando in OKC. I'm sorry, 102-86 in that game. And they were, I want to say it, they were a 12.5 point favorite, were the Oklahoma City Thunder in that spot. So if this wasn't so much of a rest disadvantage spot, I do think that they get up for this game. OKC does. I don't think it's going to be too much of a letdown spot. If anything, they probably got a super bad taste in their mouth and probably want to, play against Orlando. We know Orlando is probably has the rebounding advantage here. Orlando does a pretty good job of getting back on defense as well, but Orlando's going to struggle to score the basketball, in my opinion. I do think that the Thunder can come in here and lock this team up without Franz Wagner. You saw Orlando really struggle to score the basketball against the Knicks. They're gonna shoot a ton of threes. I think Jalen Suggs is, going to take a ton of shots. He shot poorly against the Knicks on Sunday. I expect him to shoot poorly again against OKC. We know how good their defense can be against guards. So yeah, I would probably be looking towards some Jalen Suggs unders. I know that the volume's gonna be there, but I would be looking towards Jalen Suggs to go under the same way Damian Lillard went under last night. To put some numbers to how poorly Orlando's offense has been recently, they are 21st in points scored per 100 possessions last 10 games, so bottom 10 in effective field goal percentage as well. They also bottom 10 in protecting the basketball, shooting a ton of threes, but shooting it at the second worst percentage. OKC from defense from the three-point line had been really good until they ran into the Bucks. But over the full season, they're still the second best three-point defense as far as opponent three-point accuracy. I think Orlando, like I said, as long as you can keep Orlando off the glass, and that's what the Knicks did a really good job of. Karl-Anthony Towns had, 22 and 22, I think. So as long as you can keep the Knicks off the glass, I think you got a chance. As long as you can keep Orlando off the glass, I think you got a chance. But we know that they're going to go down there, scrappy team, playing off the energy of their crowd as well. So it'll be a tall task. 7 is a lot of points to lay on the road, but potential look towards the team total to go under here is what I would look for on the Orlando side. I always say this about the Thunder. Last thing I'll say, even if their offense doesn't come to play and they're not making shots, defensively, they're like really, really good. The Thunder are, I was looking at something the other day, their turnover rate on the full season, the Oklahoma City Thunder turnover rate, I think it's 19% right now. That's one of the highest. It's number one, of course. It's one of the highest turnover rates of like the last 15 years. They're really good defensively. So if you play the opponent team total to go under, you never really can go wrong. Even if you played the Bucks, remember we talked about the full game going under. The Bucks didn't even get to 105.5 the other day in the Cup game. Even with the Thunder not being able to make a shot, they didn't even need to. So if you just played their team total under, you still won the bet. So I never could talk people off taking the opponent team total under. And Orlando's team total is 101.5. Do they get to 102 points? I don't know. It's a super low number. Probably not. Probably low for a reason though. That's my thoughts on that one, Brian. Let's see. Chloe Parlay says, can you go over why that Nuggets game is moving so much? It opened at 228. So the Denver Nuggets play, who do they play? They play the Portland Trailblazers. That's why I wasn't paying any attention to it. I have no idea why this total is moving, if I'm being honest. The only thing I wrote in my notes for this game is DeAndre Ayton is listed as questionable with an illness. If I was going to say anything, it's just that, Denver's playing super fast. All of their games, have gone over. I'm not sure what Coach Mike Malone is telling the guys, but whatever it is, it's definitely to play fast. Last 5 games, the Denver Nuggets are second in pace. They're like a sixth of a 6/10 of a point behind the Memphis Grizzlies, 107.9 to 107.3. So the Nuggets are playing super fast. Offensively, they're starting to find their rhythm as well. Jamal Murray came back, played really, really well. They're 10th in offensive rating over the last 5 games. I kind of feel like they're going to have to knock down some threes because Klingon is back. I think Robert Williams is back. Not that Jokic, is not going to go out there and do whatever it is that he wants, but Portland defense gets a little bit better at the rim when they have everybody. So we'll see what happens with DeAndre Ayton, but I'm not interested in betting on a slate like tomorrow with all the games we got. I'm not interested in betting Denver and Portland. That's just how that goes for me, man. That's just how that goes. All right, I'll go through a couple more of the comments real quick, and then we're gonna get ready to get up off of here. Let's go. Let me get back over here to see what you guys are saying, if anything at all. Bryce says, I read that Scotty is most likely playing for Toronto. The beat writer said, yeah, I think he could come back. I do think he could come back. What up, G Hurt? Will says, Joker triple-double, 3 of his last 5 games against the Blazers. Yeah, Jokic triple-double has just been cashing. Do you think he needs to necessarily get one in this matchup specifically? I'm not sure. But let's go look at the market real quick for it. Jokic triple-double plus 175 right now, which I feel like is pretty good odds over on Bet365. It's all the way down to plus 150 on DraftKings, and FanDuel got a plus 150, but you can get plus 175. So 25-cent difference over on Bet365. If I go back to Outlier really quickly, Jokic triple double. Let's see. Got one against Sacramento, missed against the Clippers, missed against the Hawks, missed against the Wizards. Got one against Cleveland, missed against Golden State, got one against the Clippers. Kind of all over the place. Head-to-head wise, yeah, you mentioned it. 2 of the last 3 games, he's gotten one against Portland. Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get from Portland, man. Portland can lose to, the cover against the Phoenix Suns like they did the other day, or they could lose by 30, 40 to the Utah Jazz. Like I'm not interested in those games at all. GLB Best says Bo Knicks anytime touchdown tomorrow, plus 340 on FanDuel and Fanatics. Great value. I talked about this earlier. So interesting you mentioned this, GLB Best. I saw it at plus 370, I want to say, is what I had written in my notes. But let me go to it real quick. I know it's not an NFL show right now, but I did the propcast. Oh my God, I got plus 350 GLB Bets. Plus 350 right now for Bo Knicks. Has 3 rushing touchdowns on the season. Hasn't scored since the Baltimore game on November the 3rd. I like it. I also played Stone Smart. Just real quick on the NFL tip, and then we're gonna get up off here. I'll get into a quick recap. But Stone Smart is my favorite play. I sent it out to the members. I like Stone Smart. If you're not familiar with him, he's the backup tight end for the Los Angeles Chargers. I played his under 3.5 receptions. Best number available when I sent it out earlier was minus 115 over on BetMGM. I just think we see a little bit of regression. He had a 5 reception game last week. I don't think he's going to continue. He had 6 targets. That's the most he's seen all season. I think with Hayden Hurst, coming back into the thick of things, I think we see the number go down a lot. I do expect Justin Herbert to have to pass the ball a lot. The Chargers don't have too much of a rushing attack with J.K. Dobbins missing, like Gus Edwards, to go under his longest rushing yards prop as well at 10.5. But I think all of it kind of correlates. If you like, I think that the ball gets spread around. McConkey, I think, gets his fair share. Stone may catch a couple passes, but 4 receptions is a lot in the NFL. So I do disagree with the number being this high. It's my favorite bet for tomorrow. I like Stone Smart a lot, under his 3.5 receptions for tomorrow. My favorite play. GLB Best says, I'll tell Stone. Hell yeah. Yeah, hopefully we can get some cash there. It's the only thing I played for tomorrow. GLB Best says, and the Clippers allow quarterbacks to run. The Chargers allow quarterbacks to run as well. Yeah, I was looking into a little Bo Knicks as well earlier. I spent about 30 minutes capping the games for tomorrow. The one standalone game that we have for tomorrow in the NFL. All right, enough for me, man. I got to be back early in the morning, do this all over again. Let's get into the quick recap. Been on here for almost 2 hours. I wasn't expecting to be on here this long. A couple other things that we mentioned that's got to be on the short list. And remember, some of these lines are going to change overnight. So you wake up in the morning and you see a different price. Hopefully you get some CLV and it cashes. We don't want CLV that don't cash. But yeah, it's what I'm liking for tomorrow, man. Utah, Detroit up and over to 227. I think that is 228. I think is the number now. Cade, I already played Cade up and over his assists. Sent this out to the members already, so that one can be green. I'm going to add Cat. I haven't played it yet, so I won't make that green. Houston, probably my favorite spread look. I do think before I play Detroit, I want to see who plays in that game. The one that we talked about that I got to look a little bit deeper into, but I think it's worth mentioning and adding to the screen would be Indiana plus the 7. Nobody's going to want to play Indiana tomorrow, but getting 7, with Nembhard back against a team that just doesn't cover like a lot of games. Suns 2-6 against the spread as a home favorite. I kind of like the Pacers tomorrow. I do think 7 is a tad bit too many points. Derek mentioned PJ Washington up and over his points, rebounds, and assists. I love it. Love it, love it, love it at 19.5. Little sprinkle on the double-double at plus 900. RJ Barrett may get involved with RJ tomorrow as well. And I think that's it. I think that's it for tomorrow. Couldn't talk anybody off Houston first half as well, minus the 6.5, I think, right now. Sometimes you can wait when all the numbers aren't available. I've gotten ahead of myself and played the 6.5, wake up in the morning. A new sports book, has now opened the market and you can get a 6. So I don't think we necessarily got to rush this one. You could potentially get a 6 in the morning. Haven't played it yet, but I do like Houston. This will be an official play for me too. Haven't played Houston, but these will be official plays for me tomorrow. And that'll be the show, man. I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Brian says, Chris, you gonna leave Houston first half on the table? I don't think so. I think I'm gonna get there. I just kind of talked about it. I think I will get there. We'll see how it goes, man. We shall see how it goes. I appreciate you guys for tapping in. If you're interested in any of the resources that I've used to kind of handicap the games, I didn't even talk about. I did talk about jaXon in the beginning. jaXon likes the under between the Wizards and the Charlotte Hornets, and I will have to wait to see what happens with Brandon Miller, who rolled his ankle in that last game against Philly, before I decided to play that game. But best of luck, man. Whatever it is that you are playing, especially if you're playing early. NBA can be janky at times, but I appreciate you guys for joining in, asking the questions, handicapping the games with me, sharing a great insight, all of those good things, man. Y'all have a good night. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. We'll be live in the morning, 7:30. We'll go through. I'm not going through any of the games that I went through today, but I'll go through the rest of the games and see if I can see what I can find in the next hour or so, and be prepared to do the show in the morning. That's it, man. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Appreciate everybody for tapping in as always. I'm out.